Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. There is an echo. Anil, can you hear me?
Sir, आपका सुनाई दे रहा है.
Yeah, is there an echo?
No, sir. No echo.
Okay, okay, all right. Rajesh, how are you? Ah, there you are. Namaskar.
So then let's go. Rajesh
will join.
Chetan.
वो तमसष्टी से हैं.
Okay.
और ये टीम हमारी जो है वहाँ से.
So should we go there and see?
हाँ, आप पूछिए ताकि
अभी आपका ऑन है
सर,
कनेक्शन?
आपका program, ये आपका वो है आज का। हाँ, वो जो ये है ये फाइल देकर
So let's not make Dr. Bashir wait.
नहीं, तीन है मेरे पास अलग है।
हाँ,
Is it on? Connection off. You don't need this one. Okay, on now. Dr. Mashelkar is on. Can they hear me? Yes. Dr. Mashelkar?
Ajay, how are you? Very great to see you. Where are you all? In one room, I can see you.
I am in the office of Dr. Sud, sir.
PSC.
Okay.
आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया में हैं या इंडिया में हैं?
इंडिया में, पुणे में हूँ.
अच्छा, नहीं, आप बीच में गए हुए थे तो I was not sure.
No, I came back a couple of weeks ago, so I've been here.
अच्छा, good, namaskar, yeah.
And I'm joining from my office, not from my home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I think we are ready to start.
Yeah, 1 minute.
अभी 2 मिनट हैं. राजेश, आप can you hear us? राजेश?
Rajesh, you unmute yourself.
Rajesh is online. Chetan,
He's
Shishti, exactly. Okay. So वो
Hello, good morning to everybody. Sir, kindly just wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Sir is on the way.
5 to 10 मिनट नहीं भाई, 11-12 बजे शुरू करना था ना.
we can probably get started and then Rajesh
His turn will come to speak at 12:20. तो ऐसा कर लेंगे फिर.
हाँ.
है भाई? सेक्रेटरी नंबर.
Rajan, can we start and then Dr. Gokhale can join after 5 minutes?
Hello.
Rajan?
Put the mic off.
Come on.
We have to start.
He had a meeting outside of this.
No, I
We'll
understand.
start.
No, what I'm saying is that इसमें तो कुछ नहीं है ना, ये I already have. हाँ, सब कुछ, that's fine. So I'm just saying that Dr. Mashelkar, just 1 or 2 minutes before we
Yeah.
whether Rajesh is joining us now. If he's joining later, maybe then we can get started and because it's already 12. So I think let's get started. हाँ, आप मैसेज छोड़ दीजिए. I'm sure Rajesh must be on the way from one meeting, and we already have 89 participants.
Yes.
So that's very nice. So these participants can hear us.
They all can hear, but they will not be speaking.
Yeah, and they are in all different parts of the country.
Different parts of the country.
Okay,
from
great.
northeast to south.
Very good, excellent. So let's get started. So Dr. Mashelkar, we'll start.
Yeah, please go.
Good morning, friends. We are very happy to have Dr. Ajay Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the government, with us today as the chief guest for the Sitare Gyati Awards and Sashti Gyati Awards. These awards, as you all know, are given to the young scholars who have either pushed the technological edge or have solved a social problem. From the last year onwards, has joined this effort to push translational innovations in life sciences. So from 2015 to 2020, we were pursuing both the 10 innovations of the technological edge and also the one which had social applications. But from last year onwards, we have been pushing for the translational innovations which have potential to generate a startup and develop enterprises. This is one of the most unique flagship programs because this creates a funnel through which most of the grassroots innovators, most of the young scholars may eventually become part of the startup ecosystem. As you all know, recently there were 750 startups showcased at the Startup Expo that Department of Biotechnology and Biotech had organized. So this is a very auspicious beginning of a career for most of the young scholars who have joined today for embarking upon an entrepreneurial career. But we also realize that many of you will continue to push the frontiers of science by being in touch with their juniors and also trying to help deepen the science, because deep science will lead to deep technology. And through that, we will be able to generate sustainable and viable enterprises. To give an overview of what we have achieved in the last few years, let me give a brief run-over on the numbers, some numbers which are very inspiring. When we started in 2015, we started with only 5 awards, but subsequently, we were trying to achieve the number of 15 awards. And last year, we had only 10 awards because of COVID constraints, but we added a category of appreciation award. People whose innovations were almost on the edge, but for some reason, the jury considered that they could be appreciated and not given awards. Each one of these scholars gets 15 lakh rupees for 2 years. And during this period, they're supposed to help in testing their ideas, proving their ideas to the regulators if possible, start an enterprise. Now, if you look at the total situation, we have given so far recognition to about 89 awardees and appreciated scholars. 49 patents have been granted. 30 more are in the process. And more than 132 publications have come out. Many of these are very distinguished publications. I remember 3 of them came during 2017. There was a Nature publication, Nature Communication. Last year, there was Nanoscience, and Anil Vishnu published a paper in nanoengineering. So there were many outstanding papers that have been published along with the translational achievement. We are very happy that almost 34% of the awardees have set up enterprise. And if we take those which are under the process of setting up, another 5% will be added. So almost 40% of the students who have received award are trying to translate their innovations into enterprise. The jobs have been generated, recognition has been, many of them have received award from many other windows of opportunity. There are students who 4 of them got big grant of 50 lakhs. Then there were students who got SERV grant for setting up a center. There are many others that I will bring to your notice in a few minutes. All of these people, all these young scholars who have distinguished themselves, these are our deepest appreciation. Srishti Gyati Progress Report, if I give you just 2 numbers, because we started much earlier, there were about 279 total recognition, and about 183 patents have been granted, 40 are under process, more than 1,450 publications have been achieved by these scholars. And then about 500 odd awards have been to these students after they got Gyati Award. So Gyati has become like a benchmark of excellence among the young scholars. And once we give the Gyati Award to these young scholars, they get many other recognition from the society. Now, and then as I said, I must also mention that a large amount of investment has been mobilized by Sitare Gyati, almost 10 crores and odd, and 20 crores and odd by the Srishti Gyati. Sitare Gyati focuses on life science in its applications, but Srishti Gyati looks at all of the, though last year some of the life science instruments also applied under Srishti Gyati and were considered for recognition. To give you an exact idea about some of the people who have distinguished themselves, it does not mean that others have not, but we have just picked up a few examples to show what kind of impact Sitare Gyati and Srishti Gyati is making, but I will focus more on Sitare Gyati first. Vikas Pandey, who was Dr. Hasnain's student at IIT Delhi, and converted an ordinary microscope into fluorescent microscope with an expenditure of just 50,000. And you all know that fluorescent microscope is very necessary for diagnosing the TB material. So if telehealth center to be able to identify TB. This innovation would be very meaningful. He got a big grant of 50 lakh for another variations on his technology. He also got support from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and Grand Challenge Program. Ravi Prakash Sitare Gyati Award from NDRI Karnal had developed a technology for keeping the pail in which the milk is collected from the cattle cool. And he got a BRICS Gyati Award, a $25,000 award, $25,000 in Brazil. And he also got an award, Young Prime Innovator Award from Ministry of Science and Technology. He was honored by the DST Lockheed Martin Tata Trust Award. So many awards followed to the students who have distinguished themselves in this program. Prasant Kalita got a DST Nano Mission grant of 90 lakhs for the development of multi-marker kit and imprint grant, 1.5 crore rupees for optical reader development and pilot scale testing. He also got 25,000 pound longitudinal discovery award and 100,000 pound GBP longitudinal discovery boost grant. Now imagine one student getting so many investments shows the global recognition for the technologies that we are recognizing in this program. Shivu Chamati Chital, 2018 awardee, got 3 crore Shri PVF, Shri Ramakrishna Paramhans Research Grant in Biomedical Sciences to conduct clinical tests. Vaibhav Sitole established an IOTA Design and Innovation Lab. Anil Vishnu got at IISc Bangalore, received a core research grant for clinico-pathological side of the work, and recently published paper in the macro systems and nano engineering in Nature Engineering Journal. So these are just few names that I took. I want to mention one more young fellow, Narayan Lal Gurjar, who was a second year student in Ekach University, Udaipur. Along with his friends Shashi and Ankit, he developed a natural polymer, and he used to work in the open space between the dormitories. And from there, he developed this. He was selected for a very prestigious accelerator program in Japan. He spent 3 months there, and he has now launched this program globally. Jayesh Mewada was selected. He was 2019 awardee, and he got United Nations Global Restoration Program. He was an ambassador under this program for Earth Award. And he was also invited to the G20 Youth Summit. So we have got large number of such students who have got recognition subsequent to their award. Here, I will not take more time. I mentioned that Honeybee Network has been pursuing the cross-pollination of ideas across disciplines, across domains, and across social groups. And I'm very confident that these young scholars who will get award today will continue to pursue inclusive innovations and will try to mentor their younger friends and also be candidate for the Biotech Expo next year, maybe, or whenever it's organized next time. So thank you so much. And we will start with the next.
Thank you, Professor Gupta. Good afternoon, respected guests, awardees, and participants. Today, 10 Sitare Gyati scholars will be awarded, and the contribution of 15 scholars will be appreciated in life sciences. In other disciplines, 9 Shrishti Gyati scholars will receive awards, and 18 scholars will be appreciated. I now invite Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, the Secretary.
Dr. Mashelkar. Dr. Mashelkar.
I now invite Dr. Ari Mashelkar, Fellow of the Royal Society and Chairperson, Shrishti Board, to deliver his kind address.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ajay Sood, our most beloved Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, the one and only Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. Manish Diwan, proud awardees. Maybe I should correct myself. Awardees who have done us proud, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin by first congratulating the Gyati awardees. Professor Anil Gupta has given a very eloquent, very brief description, but very eloquent in terms of why they are becoming sitares, why they are becoming stars, what is so special about them, how they are doing cutting-edge science, cutting-edge technology, and coupling it with innovation and enterprise. So my heartiest congratulations. I want to begin first by welcoming Dr. Ajay Sood. I had tweeted when Ajay became the principal scientific advisor that this is the best thing that could have happened to Indian science, because Indian science is on a different trajectory altogether, and I'm quite sure he will take Indian science, technology, innovation into the next year. I've known him for a number of years. He's known for his excellence in science. Fellowship of Royal Society is a great achievement, and so many other international honors. But also, he's one of the finest human beings I have met in my life. At the end of it, you can be a great scientist, but great empathy is what makes individual special. Great integrity is what makes him special. So Ajay, we have tremendous expectations from you, and I want to congratulate you and welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to congratulate BIRAC. A decade of a journey was just celebrated a few days ago, 10 years. I watched BIRAC with great admiration over the years, and it was incredible what you were able to demonstrate in the Biotech Startup Expo, 750 of them, and the kind of impact that you had. Honorable Prime Minister proudly mentioned about how we have grown 8-fold in 8 years. I think that is the kind of growth. We require growth, but we require inclusive growth. We require accelerated inclusive growth. And bioeconomy, the way it has grown, BIRAC has played a huge role. So my congratulations to you all. A few words about today's program and the significance of this. I think this is a great partnership between BIRAC and Srishti, Honeybee Network, and Sitare Gyati Awards is something which is very special. If you look at Honeybee Network and Srishti, there are 3 keywords I will use for them. The first is integration. And Professor Gupta mentioned about cross-pollination, creating a bridge between formal and informal systems, and bridge between several other things. Integration, then innovation, and inclusion. Inclusion is the key. Let's not forget that today's awards are called Gyati Awards. The name of Mahatma Gandhi is associated. I remember in 2008, I was in Canberra when I was being honored with this Australian Academy honor, and I remember coining the word Gandhian engineering. At that time, I mentioned about what is Gandhian engineering. Mahatma Gandhi had said that there is enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. So therefore, you preserve your resources for generations to come. And also he had said that the benefits of science must reach all, implying for more and more people. So that became more from less for more. And I'm very happy that that particular slogan of more from less for more, representing inclusive innovation in different terms. It is not less from less. It is not making low technology work for the poor. It is not more from more. It is not making high technology work for the poor. It is more from less. It is making high technology work for the poor. And therefore, we use the word affordable excellence. And therefore, you will find practically all our awardees are excelling in affordable excellence. What they're creating is using excellence at the cutting edge, all right? And at the same time, making it accessible to our resource poor people by making it affordable. This is another comment I want to make. We talked about, and Professor Anil Gupta was absolutely right in talking about innovation to enterprise. Finally, it is enterprise. Finally, we are talking about, for young people, startups. And I'm very happy to see the journey that India has had, and from becoming a starting up nation to a startup nation. We are the 3rd fastest growing in the world today. But there is a difference, by the way. Until 2019, data shows that we're creating 1 unicorn per year. Unicorn is $1 billion market cap company, 1 unicorn per year. If you look at 2021, we almost did 1 unicorn per week. 42 unicorns to be precise in 52 weeks. I'm saying approximately 1 unicorn per week. That is the changing India. As I always say, not leapfrogging, but pole vault. We are pole vault. But what is very important is that I did an analysis, Ajay, when they were just 55, not when they're 116 as they are now, but 55. And the data there was very revealing. One thought that they came all from IITs and IIMs and so on and so forth, elite institutions. No, 50% of them came from tier 3 cities, tier 2 cities. Some of them were dropouts. What does it mean? It is democratization of wealth. Can you just imagine the magic of giving digital access, basically? You know, what transformation it has taken place. It has given a young man in a tier 3 city to create a market cap of $1 billion. You can just imagine. So this is a good news. The concern is very few of them are deep tech. Very few of them are doing cutting edge science. And I think that is the space we need to occupy. Finally, science-led innovation, cutting edge science-led innovation is what we need to do. That's the second point I want. The third point is, if you look at the Gandhi awardees, and once again, Professor Gupta has provided lots of data, basically. And those data show that bulk of the Gandhi awardees come from premier institutions. IIT Delhi top, then IIT Madras, and IIT Bombay, IIT Kharagpur, Indian Institute of Science, IIT Kanpur. And in his own words, the non-elite institutions have a very, very small proportion. So here is a contrast. We are talking about unicorns where 50% of them are from tier 3 cities. And here we are talking about Gandhi Awards, which are science-based, basically, small presence of elite institutions. I think we need to deep dive into this now and see as to what is basically the reason why this is happening. Because as I said, the key words are integration, innovation, inclusion, and inclusion means everyone. In fact, the strong belief that we have had in Honeybee Network, SUSTI, National Innovation Foundation, is that everyone is someone. And to use the absolutely irreplaceable words of Professor Anil Gupta, minds on the margin are not marginal minds. So the power of mind of everyone is what we want to explore. So that is the third point I want. The fourth point is finally at the end of the day, it is talent, technology, and trust. Where abundance of talent, there is no question about that. Technology, yes, we are getting access to the best technology. But it is very important to have trust in it, basically, and to give an opportunity. So among the agenda, Ajay, that one would like to set up for you, this is one of the biggest concerns, is that when there is a young person, basically, how do you give him an opportunity? Supposing there is a tendering process. It is like Sachin Tendulkar soaring a century when he was just 15-year-old. But if he had to be taken in test, supposing there is a condition where you have 10-year experience, what would happen? It is exactly the same thing with startups. And therefore, the trust part of it becomes very important. I'll tell you, I am co-chair of Maharashtra State Innovation Society. And we have created a system where the normal tendering process is done away with, basically. And there are certain criteria that are used by which the young people get a work order. I mean, recently we had an example of somebody who had developed drones which can clear the rivers, basically, the surface of the rivers. He was given a work order, no tender, no competition, basically. And he did a fantastic job and he's getting orders from everywhere. All right. So I think the trust part of it, I think it's extremely important. You know, today we talk about Kiran Mazumdar, Biocon, right? As a sort of a leading but if you go back, it was TDICI, the first venture capital company, I was on the board. She started in a garage with 10,000 rupees and we looked at her potential and supported her. And today Kiran Mazumdar is what Kiran Mazumdar. So one of the things you might want to look at, by the way, among large number of challenges that we had, is how do we make that happen? Because at the end of it, you have to create an enterprise which is successful. The last point I want to make is I want to particularly address the young people and all of us.
There's a disturbance at your end.
No.
It's okay. There's a disturbance, sir. There is something, some wire is rubbing, or there's a mic has been disturbed or something, sir.
I'm exactly in the same position as I was.
Now it's okay, sir. Now it's okay.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Please continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So there is a paper by Stephen and Burnley, which actually gives a universal curve, which shows that if there are, let's say, 300 ideas that are written down, then 125 small projects emerge from that. 9 of them are significant projects. 4 of them become major, and finally 1 succeeds. So the chances of success are very low. So I think what we have to do, final point that I want to make, is that how do you assure success? And there the assured framework comes up. Affordable, scalable, sustainable, user-friendly, rapid excellence in terms of the cutting-edge technology that we are using, and distinctive, not me too, strong protection of intellectual property rights. And actually, they have shown by doing an analysis, and this is being used very widely now. It was first introduced when I was chairman of the Standing Committee for Selection of Drinking Water and Sanitation Technologies that the Government of India had created. And if you get to their website, you will find that you have to fill up that assured framework, which is quantitative, qualitative, etc. And what we have done is also an analysis which shows, as a matter of fact, that you can do great innovation and you are assured. You create an enterprise which is assured. In 5 years, it just goes off because some part of that assured part actually just fall off. So creating a robust system is another item on the agenda that we have to take. How do we make sure that our success rate is the highest? How do we make sure that innovation that we do is actually assured? So these are the 5 points I thought I would like to make. And finally, I wish all these sitares, our stars, that they will shine brightly and make us all proud in India. The Indian stars, making India proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Dr. Mashelkar. I now invite Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, the Secretary for the Department of Biotechnology, to talk to us about the vision for Sitare and the partnership between BIRAC and Shrishti.
Thank you very much, Professor Sood, Dr. Professor Anil Gupta, Dr. Manish Tiwan. Thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful meeting, actually a small group of meeting of really touching the sitares of human lives and endeavors, actually. And I think I must, first of all, so eloquently put by Professor Mashelkar that I don't really need to repeat, but it's really just to say congratulations to all of you, all the awardees, all the student innovators. I think only one thing that I would say, that make innovation as your habit in life. Very early, you imbibe it, the faster it becomes inclusive in life. And but once it becomes inclusive, it in fact becomes greater value for the society that you all want to look into a much better way. So I think it's a wonderful event today to be able to get together and coordinate these activities. Let me just start by saying that we, as Professor Mashelkar also referred, I mean, we recently had a DBT BIRAC, in fact, had set up a startup innovation expo in Pragati Maidan a couple of days. And the Honorable Prime Minister actually, really was very enthusiastic about how fantastic achievements have been happened. And clearly all of this have happened because several people contribute in variety of ways to be able to make this happen over a decade or last 8 years of the system that we have happened. I think in fact, Honorable Minister also inaugurated a small book on about 75 women entrepreneurship who are actually increasingly becoming more and more dominant figure in the BIRAC's journey and startup journey. And I really think that that's probably going to be the biggest changer in the country, that's going to change the trajectory of how the whole innovation ecosystem will change. Because just by the practice, they are tremendously empowered to be able to do wonderful things. I think there are several things that have happened in the last couple of years that have changed the trajectory of how we carry out our function. And the real major changer has been the pandemic that has actually, opened up our own ways of what we have been doing, what we're looking at it. To just give you a little bit of background, Department of Biotechnology has in fact done tremendously well for the country's vaccination program, which all of you would really, all of you must have had during this year of time. And I think this only happened because the tremendous amount of experience, the capacity, all the energy that has been put in over the years that Department of Biotechnology and other systems have put up to be able to, catalyze development of these vaccines, and also, eventually deployment through health ministry and other aspects of the stuff. And I think this is incredible to really see number of vaccines that have come to the market and in fact have been deployed in a very short period of time. It's a wonderful example of how rapidly innovative technologies can very quickly get imbibed into the system. And all of you should feel inspired about, how much fantastic stuff that all of you can in fact do as we move into the future. I just thought I will, talk to you because Professor Mashelkar gave you some fantastic tips about how these different things will happen. I thought I'll talk to you about some specific areas that are really, really game changer and in fact can make tremendous amount of impact. And this is just my impression about what the way things are going on right now. I think one of the key things that pandemic has also done is exposed our inequality. Actually, you can see there are several countries across the world. India has done remarkably well of having 2 billion doses approximately being given all across the country. But just imagine there are so many countries that are still struggling to get these vaccine programs. And so the inequality doesn't only exist in society, but also exists across countries, across nations, across continents. And I think that's the aspiration of your younger people should be, is that, as our Honorable Prime Minister says, made in India for the world. And that's what I think we should really look into, how we move into the future of the world. The other thing what we really need to understand, and that people are starting to put more and more efforts into, is how to prevent such pandemics actually. And pandemic preparedness has become another important area where new innovative ideas will emerge. And you can see these are very new areas to work. For example, how do we stop from animal to people exchange of viruses? Because that's going to become a kind of periodic feature as we continue to engage ecologically into each other's domain areas. This will become a major challenge. Then if you look at, for example, problems of solar energy, actually, which our country really needs to expand in a very, very large way, is how do we survive and thrive in the extreme conditions, actually? Even on a day when there is no sunlight, actually, how can we capitalize on some of the aspects of the technological perspective that can bring tremendous amount of value? Electricity in medicine was always utilized as one of the way in which the medicine and other activities used to happen. For example, shocks were given for the paralyzed muscles to be able to carry forward. In fact, the new technologies, actually futuristic technologies, are talking about how brain disorders can be created by implanting various systems into it and be able to carry forward, give shock waves and all. So there are tremendous opportunities. And I thought I will just, give you some brief thoughts about it actually. Even in an economic perspective as well, because all of you are scientifically and commercial technologically areas of looking at, even to just look at economic impact value of this non-tangible asset itself is the biggest challenge right now. If you look at, how do we look at, for example, if you consider all the countries that are advanced economies, it's often believed that the growth is stagnated there actually. And the reason for that is that, the way we look at technological progresses in an intangible assets is actually being very poorly looked at. And I think all these spaces, we really need to make an impact, because as we start measuring value of these intangible assets, the governments and institutions also understand how they bring value to it. And it in fact bring values back into these kind of awardees and awards functions, which actually makes it tremendously powerful and stronger to be able to carry out these activities. I think I will just end by saying that bioeconomy is what one of the key targets of Government of India is, to be able to look at future. And I just hope that you Sitare become the real stars of bioeconomy of future of this country, and really change the dimensions of how we will grow and how we will actually make tremendous amount of impact. I'll just stop here, but then say that, you have tremendous, wonderful luminaries today in this meeting, actually, who have guided variety of interesting things in this country. Both Professor Mashelkar has been done fabulous work across industry and institution building. Professor Anil Gupta has replicated several social entrepreneurship models. And I think Professor Anil Sood, who's also been very, very kind to give his time today, actually, for this wonderful event, is a remarkable individual, as already Dr. Mashelkar said. There's a tremendous amount of scientific enterprise that he brings into his. So I think it's really wonderful for all you young people to really get energized by these wonderful minds. And thank you very much for the opportunity for making me part of this event. And DBT BIRAC is always wants to work together with various organizations. In this case, it is with the Srishti, which is a terrific organization actually in future to make tremendous amount of impact differences in the future of the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gokhale. We will now watch a 1-minute film about Srishti BIRAC collaboration and Srishti activities.
Sound is not there.
Srishti team, if you can check the sound.
Sound, maybe there is no sound. Just 1 minute. Just is a visual. Oh.
These are all the awards.
All the awards.
Yeah.
Showing some photographs of the previous award functions.
Yeah.
We had the 2018 one.
Yeah.
We had the Festival of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Then Vice President came.
2019. Yeah.
These are some of the enterprises set up based on the Gandhi Awards. And we also have this Biotechnology Innovation Ignition School, where undergraduate students from around the country are mobilized. And they do both wet lab experience and also immersion. We also organize Satvik at the traditional food festival, food and nutrition festival, where lakhs of people come. We organize Shodhyatra learning walks. We just had in Rameshwaram 47th walk. So in summer we go to hot places and winter in cold places. We have worked in every state of the country. This was from Rameshwaram, where they use fallen leaves to make notes to honor the centenarians.
The award ceremony will now begin.
How will it be done? They will bring one by one. And, so you're going to bring each innovator one by one to the slide, or they will be visible? Chetan?
Sharing the video now, sir.
Huh?
Sharing the video.
All right. To save the time, we thought that if
Sure,
that is taking more time. Next award, I hope, can be physical.
I think we are almost on the
Yes,
end of the
yes. Loading. Yeah, it's just.
Physical interaction with young students.
Can we have the PPT if there is a
Yeah,
problem with the
not-
video? Can we have the PPT of awards then, Chetan?
Yeah, I think the video is not shared.
Please start with the presentation then. Just show what each slide one by one of the innovators, and then we will consider them being awarded today.
We're starting it in 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
From Bangalore.
Yeah.
Brain tumor margin diminution.
Yeah.
It's also from Bangalore. Chronic airways management. This is the trophy that they each get. So we attend them in advance.
Yeah, great.
Microneedles, polymeric pipeline for controlled drug.
Yeah. Probably PhD student.
Yes, all of these.
Oh, they are all.
He's from a non-elite college from UT. Point of care monitor cardiovascular disease management.
Have they also started a start?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Not yet. I mean, their first priority is to finish their degrees.
Yeah.
And some of them have to go for postdoc, as you know, because they won't get a job here otherwise. So that's a paradox.
Yeah.
This is my array. Rice blast.
Yeah.
We were not getting too many from agriculture, but this time there are two.
Yeah. I think 6 or 7 are
8.
women. That's very good.
Yes. And it goes through very rigorous review. At least 5 reviewers process, at least 3
Yeah.
best are considered for each. To build cabinet systematic. It's the enriching methane content, microbial electrosynthesis. Somehow we have not been getting too many from ICERs. I don't know why. Very rare. This time there is one.
This is 15 lakhs research.
For their work for 2 years, which includes testing, trials.
This is same.
This next one.
Oh.
Microfield device for discovery drug screening applications.
Yeah.
This is your area. Non-ready for future use in space and defense.
Yeah.
Tejpur has done well among the universities, central universities.
Yeah.
Previous years also they have got
No.
some. Biofuel cell.
You've won how many this year? 15 awards?
We have 8 and then 15 appreciation.
These are appreciation.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
These are the position.
Through this endeavor, they get connected to the ecosystem.
Where are they? Okay. This is Sitare. Earlier was history.
So there were two parts: Sitare Gyati Award, then Srishti Gyati Award. Now Sitare Gyati Appreciation, and then Srishti Gyati Appreciation. So this is a hypothermia treatment of cancer. For viral pandemic infection. Association awards are more distributed physically also. More cities, more institutions. To show the stipend over there. Yeah. This was the first time when appreciation awards were included in the Sitare Gyati.
Okay.
Now, last Srishti Gyati appreciation. I see. Bangalore. Very large number in diagnostics.
Very large. That's right. Majority of them are in biofield, right?
Most of them, though not all.
Very few are in. Yeah.
This is a wireless power transfer.
Yeah. Correct.
This was the transition year. Many students applied at Safety Portal instead of Direct Portal. So we didn't want them to be excluded for recognition.
Right.
But they may not get financial, but at least they will get.
Appreciate. Yeah.
This is beyond for aircraft and so on. Smart textiles. In future, we could create them group-wise, domain-wise,
Yeah.
with some mentors. So, for masks. Smart polling with human body temperature activation. This is the information.
Now we will have the release of the Sitare Gyati and Shrishti Gyati Award 2021 book.
So, you also-
I now invite Professor Ajay K. Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, Fellow of the Royal Society, and a Distinguished Honorary Professor of Physics at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, to inspire the young scholars.
Am I audible? Yeah. Okay. First of all, let me start by thanking Professor Anil Gupta to make me a part of this very interesting and exciting event, which is recognizing our youngsters for this innovation awards under Shrishti Gaiti and Sitare Gaiti. I'm sure these awards, these recognitions will go a long way in their careers to really do much, much more in terms of excellence in science, as well as in entrepreneurship, startups, and so on. Now, that brings me first to thank Dr. Mashelkar, who has so very eloquently described what we should be doing. But before that, personally, I would like to thank him for really being in this event and also saying very kind things about me. Because I know Dr. Mashelkar for a very long time, I think. I think I know him very, very well. I don't know the reverse. But what is inspiring for me over this last almost 30 years, that I consider Dr. Mashelkar as an epitome of achieving excellence in cutting edge science, but at the same time, equally sensitive and contributing to translation of these ideas for societal benefits. I don't think I have another example to compare with Dr. Mashelkar. This is truly phenomenal, and it is so inspiring for many, many people from my generation and also for many generations to come. And I can tell you that this is not something which can be taken lightly. It is extremely rare and important. And for youngsters who are really launching their careers, and many of them are present, like almost 100 of them in this function, you should really see how these two things can be achieved. As was mentioned by previous speakers, Dr. Gokhale, Professor Anil Gupta, that actually it is very important to see how we can bring deep tech startups. See, what we have to do out of the 66,000 startups which are happening, which have happened till now, we have to see how to really increase the deep tech startups. And I think it can't be said better than what was said earlier, that this means that the innovations have to be based on really, really cutting edge science, which is changing the pathway of thinking in that direction. Then only on a practical front, you will make money. The person who gives the ideas actually takes 80% of the whole market. 20% is only fought between those who follow. So I think it is so important that we bring this emphasis on deep tech startups in our country. We have done very well in the 66,000 startups till 2022, June, May. I'm not belittling any of that, extremely important, setting the right culture. But now a time has come where we need this particular emphasis now. And this is where the example of Dr. Mashelkar and others really stands out, how you can do so basic cutting edge science and technology, science and engineering sciences, it includes all sciences in my view, and really make the, take it further. So this is one lesson which we take home by the sheer presence of Dr. Mashelkar in today's meeting. Now, Dr. Gupta also elaborated on the success stories of awardees, which is very nice, that they are, most of them or all of them are doing very well, which really is very, very nice. And I would like to see that maybe we should have some platform where we follow the earliest awardees and make them really the showcase of what really they are doing, so that others get inspired. Maybe a very exciting website, maybe an exhibition, And in that direction, let me first, before I forget, there could be a possibility, I'm not saying it is the only possibility, that this lopsidedness in awardees in the key institutions, which is very good. I have nothing against it. I come from one of such institutions and I am beneficiary. They are extremely good and important. But if we have to really scale up, and I think it was mentioned by both Professor Gupta and all other Mashelkar and Dr. Gokhale, we have to now also bring tier 2 and tier 3 cities and other institutions, large number of engineering colleges, large number of medical schools. I wonder why our medical school people are totally left out. I did not see a single awardee from a medical school. Though everyone is working, not everyone, majority of working on bio things. I think we need to change this mindset that we need to bring in our fold and encourage that. So one possibility for consideration of this is that can we really take some of the awardees who have become startup pioneers and so on and take them around the country, not in major institutions. Major institutions are anyway doing well and they will do well without the intervention, what I'm saying. But really in the tier 2, tier 3 and colleges and medical schools, can we take them on an interaction mission? Because there is nothing better than a real life example. And as I said, as we have people like Dr. Mashelkar to inspire, but also when they see a person of their own age doing from the ideas to the startups and so on, I think it could be quite inspiring. So please see if this can help to break the full control of these awards by the top institutions. We need to scale up. And I hope maybe in subsequent years, we will see something more happening in that. So that is one I thought is one thought which came to me when I was looking at this award function. Second thing, which is probably I will mention it and see if it cuts ice with you, that we need to have these ideas in some key current problems. And all of you will agree that the current problem cannot be better defined by indicating climate change, indicating air pollution, indicating water technology, water remediation and clean water at an affordable cost, and alternate energy sources. Now, all these are deep tech, in my view. Yes. And if we identify, let's say when the next announcement goes, maybe you can see, can we get some more entries in these areas? Because I think there is a lot of scope, and if our youngsters tend to think, what can they do in air pollution? What can they do in climate change? I'm sure we will make headway, because there is a lot of money, resources, opportunities available in these sectors. Some of it is getting tapped because water radiation is something already getting tapped, truly, because water is tapped, so innovation is tapped. But maybe in other areas, please think if some proactive role can be given, and maybe you should get some ideas from Dr. Mashelkar, how he handles his Mashelkar, that innovation award, which their foundation gives for inclusive innovation. See, I'm sure he will have tons of ideas. See if in these areas, which I just pointed as an example, we can do that. So that will already make some, because all these areas which we are talking as the challenges are there for us to see. And the people who will be affected are the young people, because our life journey is towards the end. So we will not be affected by climate change as much as the youngsters who are getting the awards. So I guess a time has come for our young generation to take on these challenges and see what we can do. Of course, government will do whatever it can do, but that's not the point. The point is what can we do, and the science and technology innovation can really help in this. So this is another thought which came to me when I was looking at this award descriptions. Now, I will not be spending too much time on what has already been said so eloquently by Dr. Mashelkar, Dr. Gokhale, Gupta. I will not elaborate on each. They are extraordinary words of wisdom, and I'm sure we will ponder over it. We need to just again repeat ourselves that Atmanirbhar Bharat, which all of us have bought this idea, and we are working towards that. We have to see how to really take this pursuit of self-sufficiency, making the right innovations, making the deep tech startups, making really not only working for India, but for the world. And the key words which Dr. Mashelkar always says, and I think he repeated in the beginning, but very fast. How can you do more with less? If I got I may not be saying the right catchy words, but the idea is you have to achieve more with less. So that's the fugal innovation, or whatever you call it. But this is really the power of India. We really need to see how with our smart ideas, smart innovations, and with the correct ecosystem of economics, we really can make a difference, which is world leader. So all these young people, 100 of them online, I would like to think over it, which is the direction you would really like to make a difference in. So I don't think there is any choice. We cannot be comparing what happened in Stanford ecosystem. No, that's not the way to excel. Of course, you can always be inspired by that, but you cannot copy it. You have to make India's specific model. And that can only come when many things come together. And it is so wonderful to see so much support from BIRAC, from DBT, from all other systems, and under all the innovations which Professor Gupta is leading. So I think it's a time where we really take advantage. So I am sure it will be done, and we will see more of this. So towards the end, I will just say, let's remind ourselves that the good science leads to good technologies, good innovations. We focus ourselves, and we really look forward with all of you to see how really you will continue to excel. Of course, in academic fields, if you want to do deep tech startups, but also being sensitive to really taking it to the last mile. We have to do that. If you leave it at TRL 1 or 2, actually world will not take notice. Maybe it will take notice for 5 minutes or maybe 5 weeks, but after that, nothing happens. So this level has to be raised of the innovation. And this is not a very easy thing, but what you need is perseverance and removing all the obstacles. So I'm sure all of you will really excel in whatever you are doing. I wish you all the very best. And I really look forward to many, many more achievements for all the people who we have recognized by way of awards and appreciation. but all others who are listening to us really getting motivated and contribute to this. I'm sure that would be the right purpose of this function, and it will really make a difference in our way of thinking, in our way of contributing to the country and to the society. So, and that is where this word G stands for, Gandhi. So nothing can be better said, as was said by my previous speakers. We have to see that we really contribute to that. So with this, let me thank Professor Gupta for having me, Dr. Mashelkar being here with us. It is so inspiring, Dr. Mashelkar, I can't tell you enough on that. Dr. Gokhale, who is supporting this through BIRAC, and he himself is a great entrepreneur. I forgot to mention that. I mean, you should really see what he has done, and it is so inspiring. So Dr. Gokhale has been doing phenomenally well in taking his science from bench to next higher up innovations and market. Again, a very inspiring thing. So all of you, thank you so much for having me and connecting with this whole effort. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Professor Sood. I now invite Dr. Manish Devan, Head of Strategy, Partnership and Entrepreneurship Development, BIRAC DBT, to present a vote of thanks.
I'm very pleased to express the vote of thanks for today. Respected Professor Sood, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, ardent supporter of innovations by young mind, Professor Dr. Mashelkar ji, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale ji, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology and Chairperson BIRAC, Dr. Alka Sharma, Senior Advisor and Department of Biotechnology and MD BIRAC, always energetic champion of grassroots innovations, Professor Anil Gupta ji, founder Honeybee Network, Srishti, Gyan and NIF. The 52 Sitare Gaiti and Srishti Gaiti awardees, students, scholars, startups, mentors and subject matter experts from research institutions, incubators from across the country who have joined us through the online mode. Namaskar. Sitare Gaiti, Sitare Srishti Awards, sir. This event is much awaited annual event by all the young students and scholars from across the country. So your presence today have been recognized by the strong pool of thousands of applicants who compete for this award. And so far 10,000 applicants have actually competed for these awards. Sitare and Srishti's efforts also bring together a large pool of grassroots innovators, budding entrepreneurs, startups, incubators, mentors, experts, stakeholders who are contributing to the growing innovation ecosystem in the country. We recognize their kind support for the Gandhian Young Technology Innovation Awards. The deep tech startups based on cutting edge science nurturing need more emphasis as advised. We also need to expand the base of awardees to tier 2, tier 3 cities, medical schools as well. The current unmet needs such as water, environment, climate change are also priority challenge areas that the next cohort of awardees may consider to innovate and bring solutions not only for India but for the world as well. Dr. Mashelkar sir has been very kind to mentor and advise us in shaping our efforts on how best to encourage, integrate the young minds who can do more with less and create affordable solutions. Thank you, sir. They might be on the margin, but they are not the marginal minds, as you always emphasize also. So we thank you for your unconditional and constant support for us. We also thank Dr. Rajesh Gokhale for his guidance, instilling confidence in the project division at BIRAC DBT, and echoing for the potential of India's growing biotech startup ecosystem for COVID and beyond. And MD Biotech, Dr. Alka Sharma, for leading Biotech to accomplish various of its mandates. We also acknowledge the support of our several distinguished and eminent scientists, mentors, and subject matter experts from CSIR, DST, DBT, ICAR, ICMR, BIRAC, bioincubators, and several diverse institutions who share their experiences and advice and guide the young students, beneficiaries of Biotech Ignition Innovation School under Sitare Gaiti Awards. I also acknowledge the immense purpose and resolve that is reflected by Professor Anil Gupta ji in bringing a unique identity to this entire gamut of Sitare Gaiti and Srishti Gaiti activities by connecting relevance of social innovations while carrying along the grassroots innovators all along with wealth of traditional knowledge they bring in. Thank you, Professor Gupta and the entire Srishti team for that. सितारों की चमक बढ़ाने के लिए I also thank all our partners from public, private and philanthropic organizations, enablers from central and state departments, agencies who augment and complement the efforts to make India Atmanirbhar and empower the innovation ecosystem of the country. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Devan, and thank you everyone for gracing us with your presence. We wish all these scholars a very bright future ahead. Thank you.
I suggest that we can have the discussion with some of the awardees up to our discussion. So, 1:30, sorry. So 15 minutes, Dr. Sood is present here, Principal Scientific Advisor, and those awardees who have some ideas, some suggestions, first we will ask awardees and appreciated students to speak, and later anybody can join. We will continue for some more time. So, Chetan, we can open it for those who wish to now participate in the discussion about their vision for the future of this program.
जिनको भी सवाल है वो अपना जो हैंड है वो करेंगे तो मैं उसको ऐड करूंगा, है ना, डिस्कशन में.
Anybody, any awardee or appreciated student wants to say something, please raise hand and we will bring you on in the panel so that you can then switch on your video. Any awardee student and or appreciated student would like to participate in the discussion, please raise your hand and we'll bring you in. And then later we will continue with other faculty members and other students. Because you have been listening for such a long time, it is your turn to tell us what your results. Any student wants to raise hand and speak about challenge that you're facing or give suggestion that you may have to make this program more effective? Or yes, yeah, please. Who was raising hand? Who's raising hand? Please raise your hand so we can then recognize you. Okay, please unmute, bring them in. Those who have raised hand. Unmute them and.
उनका hand को बंद कर left वाला top में.
हाँ, तो अपना बंद कर दो सृष्टि. सृष्टि वाला hand बंद कर दो, चेतन अपना बंद कर दो ताकि बाकी हाथ नहीं.
Okay.
Yeah, please switch off your hand.
Priyanshu.
Now, Priyanshu को बुलाइए. Priyanshu
Raj Srivastava.
हाँ, Priyanshu. Please go ahead.
Am I audible? Thank you so much, sir, for letting me in. I have just one suggestion that I was recipient of Sitare Appreciation Award, and I happened to notice that the grant which is given, or the 15 lakh grant which is given to students, they have to fulfill a condition that they have to be at least 2 years in their academic studies. Now, for MTech students, it becomes really difficult to fulfill that criteria, because when I applied for Sitare Award, I was in my second year of MTech degree. So, and this is, I think this is the case for most of the people. So it becomes not possible for fulfill that 2-year criteria to get the grant. Currently, I'm trying to scale my device into a commercial product, and I have applied for a biotechnological innovation grant (BIG), and I am in my final round. So other than that, it will be really helpful for just for the development of the product if something can be done for Sitare applicants who are in their master's degree.
I think Manish, do you want to say anything on that? Or?